In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. This is the votive Mass of St. Joseph. This is the votive Mass of St. Joseph. And as you all know, on March 19th, last month, St. Joseph granted to the Holy Catholic Church, of which he is the protector, he granted us a very happy miracle, a sort of miracle, the consecration of Bishop IV to continue the work of Catholic tradition. The fact that Menzingen joined with modernist Rome to condemn it and denounce it, such a friendship reveals a friendship very similar to Pilate and Herod. Both of them joined forces to condemn the truth. And we see the result of this action of Menzingen and the direction they're taking, the leaders of the conciliar SSPX, the direction is towards modernism. And part of that is, there's 3 steps. You start making friends with modernists. Secondly, you start compromising the faith. And thirdly, as Archbishop Lefebvre said, you betray the faith. You see this behavior in Judas. Judas made the wrong friends. He went to the temple. He wanted to be among the high-class Pharisees, Sadducees, and the priests of the temple, who were like modernist Rome. They held the power. And such a friendship leads to danger. As Bishop Fillet told all the priests back in 2012, in the Cor Unum, he said, "We have made new friends in Rome." And in the same letter to all the priests, he says, it's clear after the 2 years of discussions with Rome, Rome does not have the faith, but we have to adopt a new approach with Rome. And so these dangerous friendships lead to the poisoning of the soul. St. John Bosco would tell his boys, beware of making bad friends. Stay away from bad friends because they'll lead you to hell. If that's the case on the moral level, all the more on the doctrinal level. You hang around heretics, you're going to start adopting their ideas. And Father Thomas Aquinas said, the great prior of the Santa Cruz Monastery in Brazil, where the consecrations took place on March 19th, I asked him once, do you see any similarities between what happened with Campos and Labarou and what's happening now to the Society of St. Pius X? He said, yes, it's the same, following the same 3 steps. They make friends, they start becoming friends of the diocesan bishops, and we saw recently Bishop Athanasius Snyder, who granted seems to be favorable to tradition, but he hails and loves Pope Benedict XVI. That means he hails and loves his heretical theology. And he comes to visit Winona, the seminary in Winona. He visited Zeitskofen in Flavigny in France. And Cardinal Brandmüller also visited some of the seminaries in Europe. These friendships are not to convert them, as it was with the great Bishop Laszlo in the Philippines, but these are friendships that are dangerous. And they're speaking to the priests, and it's on a level not to convert them, but to have dialogue, to encourage dialogue. So these friendships lead to compromise. Judas compromised the faith. Judas compromised, and he betrayed our Lord with 30 pieces of silver. Compromise, said Archbishop Lefebvre, leads to betrayal. And compromise, that is, being silent, not to offend the new friends, not to offend them and hurt their feelings, because to condemn Vatican II, which they love so much, to condemn their new Mass, which they say, is to put discomfort in a friendship. So such a compromise of silence on the truth leads to betrayal. And these are the 3 steps we have all witnessed in the Society of St. Pius X. And it's very clear that the conciliar Society of St. Pius X, it is clear now that Bishop Fillet, Bishop Tissina Mallory, or Bishop Galaretta, they will never consecrate a bishop now without Rome's approval. And the candidate will have to be one approved by Rome. So to quote the Society of St. Pius X priest, he said, just admitting the truth, the SSPX, the Conciliar SSPX is finished. It's over. They're in a dead end. They're in the pocket of the modernists in Rome, and the modernists are laughing, toasting, laughing, because they've duped Bishop Fillet. They've duped him. And now they will not consecrate bishops without Rome's approval. So the future, said this priest, the future is with the resistance. The Society of St. Pius X, Marian Corps, that continues with God's help and all our desire, the work of Archbishop Lefebvre, which is the work of the popes of Catholic tradition. So, but what is the heart of the whole fight? Because many people think, oh, it's this bishop against that bishop. And then this group of priests, all hot-headed against some new policies. What is the whole heart of the whole thing? What's the whole, why this fight? Why this battle? Why this separation that we have to go through? And for many souls and for many priests and for many religious, it's very painful. You lose friends, you lose brothers, you lose sisters, you lose fathers, you lose so much. But what's at the heart of it, and this is where we have to always come back to. The heart of it is, which is the heart of the Catholic faith. Who is this who hangs on the cross? Who is he? Who is like a worm and no man? His hands pierced, his feet pierced, his heart transfixed, and dies on the cross. Who is this? He is the one who we read in the last gospel, says St. John, in the beginning was the Word, that's Christ, the Son of God. In the beginning, that is, not having a beginning. In the beginning since eternity. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He is God. And that's the heart of the Catholic faith, that our Lord Jesus Christ, the work of the redemption, is God. We adore him as God. We kneel before him as King. And we unite ourselves and wash in his precious blood, because he is the eternal high priest. And these three titles of Christ, Christ is God, Christ is King, Christ is eternal high priest. These three truths were dissolved and attacked at Vatican II. That's the heart of the fight. It's about that. And Satan's program is, in union with the Judeo-Masons and the enemies of Christ at the political level, is to uncrown him, to bury him, to get rid of him in his Mass, his Catholic Church, his sacraments. Because the devil is all out waging war. And that's why they have to tear down Catholic tradition. And that's why they have fought many years to infiltrate the Society of St. Pius X, and now they have won. And so we have to continue. And that is the many words of Archbishop Lefebvre as well. We continue the work of Catholic tradition. And that means we have to oppose the compromises of Bishop Fillet and the leaders of the SSPX, who have compromised with Vatican II, compromised on these fundamental truths. Because if you accept religion, if you accept ecumenism in any way, which the Doctrinal Declaration does by accepting Vatican II, then you compromise on the divinity of Christ. If you accept religious liberty, which Bishop Fillet signed on to, that it's reconcilable with the Church's magisterium, that the religious liberty of the Council is limited, very limited, very limited. If you say that, you compromise on Christ's kingship. It's a very serious betrayal of the faith. And the third one, if you say the new Mass is legitimate, you attack the priesthood of our Lord Jesus Christ. Because the new Mass attacks his holy priesthood and the new sacraments. And so it's clear the leaders of the new SSPX have compromised on the faith and the very foundations of the faith, which is Jesus Christ as God, King, and eternal High Priest. So this is what we want to profess before the whole world. Before the whole world that wants to spit at him as God, uncrown him as King, and do away with his holy sacrifice of the Mass. And these things we as Catholics, we hold high. This is the victory over the world, our faith. Not ours because we think so, but ours because we believe what God has revealed. And that cannot change. So let's ask the Mother of God, and let's thank St. Joseph for this little miracle of past on his feast day on March 19th, where Bishop Williamson consecrated a bishop and made it very clear we have no mandate from this Conciliar Rome, but we have the mandate from Christ and from the Catholic Church of tradition, because the faith must continue. It must continue in the true Mass. And then in that mandate, they also said, well, it'd be great if we could have a bishop from the SSPX, but since the SSPX, the conciliar one, is set on compromise, set on a recognition with the modernists of Rome, then we can't expect one from them either. And so in the mandate, this is what was read out loud on the day of the consecration. By this handing down of the episcopal powers of orders, no episcopal power of jurisdiction is assumed or granted. And as soon as God intervenes to save his church, which has no more human hope of rescue, the effects of this consecration and of its emergency mandate will be without delay put back in the hands of a pope, once more Holy Catholic. This is the same thing Archbishop Lefebvre told before bishops. Hold on to the faith, stay united in the faith, and that's done now. Stay united in the faith, and don't seek an agreement with Rome, and don't compromise until when? Until we have a perfectly Catholic Pope. And we all know we're far from that right now, but we also know that the Virgin Mary in Quito, she prophesied these times. She prophesied Archbishop Lefebvre, and she prophesied that it'll come to the point where everything seems lost. Like the Catholic faith is just hanging on a thread. We're there now. It's hanging on a thread. And she says, but when all seems lost, then I will step in and overthrow the powers of the devil, crush his head, and there will be a period of victory for the Catholic Church. So even if that victory was here right now, we still have to fight for heaven. We're not done fighting till we get to heaven. So battle on, dear faithful troops, and those of you who are confirmed, you are marked in the battle. And so ask the Mother of God to be faithful, to fight the battles of God as badged members of his mystical body by our confirmation. O Mary, conceived without sin. O Mary, conceived without sin. O Mary, conceived without sin. In the name of the Father, Son, and